If you feel like you're still exhausted, no matter how many hours of sleep you get, you might be missing a few key things to help you get quality deep sleep. Today, we're going to be talking about how to fix your sleep with some simple strategies and shifts. If you're new, hi, welcome. My name is Angelica. I'm so excited to have you here. And if you're returning, welcome back. Always happy to have you. Today, we're going to be diving into one of the areas of health and wellness that I feel like I struggle with the most out of everything. I have for many, many years, but I have learned some things that have truly changed the game for me. And most of them have come from this book, Sleep Smarter by Shawn Stevenson, and his podcast, The Model Health Show. Shawn Stevenson is, shout out to him because he is one of my mentors. He doesn't know me at all, but he has been one of my mentors in the health and wellness space for years and years and years. He is just incredibly knowledgeable and hilarious, and he just delivers everything in such an accessible and friendly way. I found him when I first started my health and fitness journey. So shout out to him. I will link his podcast below. But I learned a lot of the things I'm going to share today from his books, from his content. So go check him out if you don't already follow him. So here's the thing. We know that we need to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night in order for our bodies to recover and to do all the restorative things that it needs to do every single night. But what you don't know is that the quality of your sleep matters just as much, if not even more, than the quantity of sleep that you're getting. You'll know that you're not getting that deep quality sleep if you are waking up still feeling groggy, still feeling exhausted, no matter how long you slept. You can also kind of experience these if you sleep too much as well. So just kind of be wary of that. But if you're hitting that like 7, 8, 9 hours and you're waking up feeling really groggy, feeling exhausted, feeling like you didn't sleep at all, you're wired at night. For me, this comes up as having a bajillion thoughts and to-dos and ideas that flood my brain the second my head hits the pillow, and I feel anxious about going to sleep because I feel like I should be doing something. If you feel mentally foggy, you're having cravings, specifically like sweets and salty stuff throughout the day. If you're waking up in the middle of the night and having trouble falling back asleep, these can all be signs that you're not getting that deep restorative sleep that you need. At night, our body goes through sleep cycles, and I'll put up a graphic here, but essentially there are 3 stages, and it takes about 90 to a little over 100 minutes for us to complete a full sleep cycle. So this starts with a light sleep, deep sleep, and then REM sleep. And our body needs to go through all 4 of those to complete a sleep cycle, and then it starts over again at light sleep. Normally, a person should typically go through 4 to 6 full cycles per night before they wake up in the morning. And if you're not getting that, it can be an issue. For myself, for a long time, I've struggled with sleep. I've struggled with insomnia for, various periods of time, just struggling to fall asleep, stay asleep, waking up, all of that. And one of the things that has really, really helped me to see what's going on with my sleep and start to have targeted solutions is my Ultra Human ring. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, although I wish. Hello, reach out to me, Ultra Human. But I purchased this ring a couple of months ago specifically for helping me track my sleep and my cycle, and it has given me crazy, amazing value and data for me to go off of. So originally, I was using my Garmin watch to track my sleep, but it's not comfortable to sleep in this watch. The ring is a lot slimmer, so it's easier to sleep in. And one thing that I noticed was that I was only getting 1 to maybe 2 full sleep cycles per night, which is crazy, not good. So I started to implement a few things that we're going to cover in today's episode to help me get into that deep sleep and REM sleep and have full cycles throughout the night so that I can actually feel restored and rested when I wake up versus feeling like I slept for 2 seconds. Basically, that's what we're aiming for, is to have 4 to 6 of these full sleep cycles every single night to have that deep quality sleep that we need in order for our body to fully feel restored and rested and recovered, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. While we are sleeping, there are some key functions of the body that happen only when we're sleeping that are super important to our physical health, our mental well-being, all of it, overall health and wellness. And that includes things like muscle repair and recovery. So when we're working out, when we are engaged in physical activity, we are breaking down our muscles, we are tearing them, we are putting them through the ringer, and then sleep time comes and the body is able to repair that muscle and build it back bigger and stronger than before. That is the process that we are going for when we are trying to build muscle in the gym. We're breaking it down when we work out and we're building it up as we sleep. That way, we basically come back bigger and stronger than we were before. If we are not getting that proper deep sleep, our muscles can't actually repair and recover in order for us to continue to see progress in the gym. So if you notice that you have all these signs that you're not getting quality sleep, but then you're also noticing that you are not able to progress in your lifts, or you're struggling in the gym, or you're really, really sore all the time and you just feel like you can't recover, then it's probably related to your sleep. For example, I've been having issues sleeping, and then I also noticed that I was having this like nagging hamstring issue where my hamstring just always kind of felt a little bit sore, a little bit overworked. And even though I knew, I'm not doing a ton of like heavy hamstring work, it just wasn't recovering the way it should be. And that was because I was not getting the deep quality sleep that I actually needed for my body to fully repair. Some other things that happen when we're sleeping is fat metabolism. So your body is metabolizing the body fat that you have, also hormone regulation. And then it's also doing the detoxification of your body. So we have this thing called the lymphatic system and the glymphatic system, which is in your brain. And that is basically responsible for removing any toxic waste, any buildup, anything that is in your body, in your system, in your blood, and taking it all out, basically like the garbage men of your body, taking all of that out and removing it as you sleep. I forget the specific statistic. I want to say like 30%. Okay, so I had to look this up because I thought it was 30%. It's actually closer to 60%. Our brain cells shrink up to 60% when we are sleeping in order for our body to remove all that toxic waste and buildup from our brains, and then again from our bodies as well when we are sleeping. If this does not happen, that can cause the fogginess and fatigue and like issues that you have with recall, with memory. Basically, it can impact how your brain is functioning because it's kind of just overflowing with this stuff. Like I said, if you think about that system as the garbage men of your body, if you are letting it all build up, it's like letting your trash can in your kitchen just continue to overflow, and then there's trash on the floor, and it's like gross, And then there's like nowhere to put the new trash because it's all just overflowing. The same thing is happening in our bodies. So we need to make sure that we are getting that restful, deep sleep in order for that process to work efficiently and then clear all of that junk out of our bodies, out of our brains, so that we can think clearly, that we can feel good, that our bodies are the most optimal that they can be. When it comes to those of us in our 30s and beyond, rest and recovery becomes even more imperative because now we are kind of fighting against the natural progression of our bodies. We have, specifically for women, we have a lot of hormonal changes that happen in our 30s, 40s, and 50s that we are combating. This can cause fluctuations in body fat. We can experience more inflammation, higher cortisol, more sensitivity to stress, and we are naturally losing muscle mass as we age. So we need to make sure that we are combating that, not just with lifting in the gym and trying to build more muscle, but like I mentioned before, if we're not recovering properly, then our muscles can't actually repair and build the way we want them to. So I know that a lot of us women, and probably guys too, but obviously I talk mostly to women, struggle with the idea of rest and recovery because it seems like, number one, we have this never-ending to-do list. I'm making a list right now. We have this never-ending to-do list and never enough time to actually complete everything on it. And we also feel like rest can be this selfish thing where if we're resting, then we're not taking care of someone else or something else that we're responsible for, and that can make us feel guilty or ashamed or a whole host of other emotions. So we really need to also work on that mindset shift of rest is not just this luxury that we wish we could have. It's also not this selfish thing where we're like, oh, I'm gonna go rest and like put some cucumbers on my eyes and whatever. And like, if you want to do a spa day, all for it, go for it. But we really need to make that mindset shift from this is like a luxury, nice to have, or if I have time, to I absolutely have to do this. Otherwise, I am doing a massive detriment to my health and well being, which is then going to affect how I can show up for my family, my friends, my loved ones, my work, my career, my business, all of that. Now that we have a good idea of why sleep is so important and how it kind of affects our health and well being, let's dive into the little tips and shifts that I have for you to make that can really help you to see improvements in the quality of your sleep, not just the quantity. And we're gonna kick this off with the things that you should be doing right when you wake up, because believe it or not, what you do first thing when you wake up is going to have a bigger impact on your sleep than what you do right before bed. When you wake up, there's a couple key things that you can do that are going to help you get better sleep at night. And that is number one, getting some sunlight in your eyes as soon as you can. Now, I know that if you wake up way before the sun, for example, I generally wake up around 5 a.m. The sun is not up yet. There are a couple of things you can do, like turning on all of the big lights in your house. I hate having big lights on, but as much bright light as you can get. You could also do something like a sunlight lamp. I have one of those as well, especially during the winter. That's great to have because it could be 3 hours before the sun is up in the morning, and that can just kind of be a good little like placeholder until I can actually get out in the sun. But if you do wake up and the sun is up, or after you wake up and the sun comes up, you want to get outside and get some sunlight in your eyes. This can be going for a walk. Like for me, that's walking with my dog. I don't wear sunglasses. Sometimes I'll wear a hat if it's really, really bright out already, because I obviously don't want to be like squinting and like not being able to see. But you want to try to not have sunglasses on. So you could wear a hat, just kind of give you a little bit of coverage there. You could sit outside on your patio while you're drinking your coffee or reading your book or journaling or meditating or whatever you enjoy doing in the morning. You could do that. You do not need to be like staring directly into the sun, okay? Don't do that. Indirect light, you just want to get outside. This is going to help regulate your circadian rhythm, which is our body's natural flow of hormones throughout the day that help us to wake up, be more active, have energy, and then to get sleepy and sleep at nighttime. The next thing to do in the morning is around caffeine. Now, you guys know I love my caffeine, okay? I love it. I drink it every day. Have a glass of water first. A big glass of water. I like to add a little bit of sea salt for some electrolytes in there before I drink my coffee. I just have it while my coffee's brewing. But drink some water first, and then you want to kind of cut caffeine by early afternoon. Caffeine has a very long half-life, which means it stays in your system for hours and hours after you drink it. And if you're drinking it super late in the day, you still have that caffeine coursing through your blood when you're going to sleep, which, if you are sensitive at all to caffeine, can keep you awake for long after you are trying to go to bed. So making sure that you're just kind of regulating your caffeine intake throughout the day, ending it a little bit early. I would say around like 1 or 2 is probably the latest you want to have it. Not gonna lie, there are some days where I have caffeine at like 4 o'clock because I'm working out after work, but you know, not something you want to do every day. I know, okay, I know everyone's like, make sure you eat something before you drink your coffee. Don't have coffee for 90 minutes after you wake up. Look, you can do that, okay? If you want to be the most optimal you can be, then yes, do that. For me personally, I'm not waiting 90 minutes before I have my coffee, okay? I can barely wait the 10 minutes to drink my cup of water while my coffee is brewing before I have my coffee, okay? I'm just gonna be so for real right now. I'm not waiting 90 minutes. And I do sometimes have a protein shake before I have my coffee, depending on the day, depending on what I'm doing. But I don't eat breakfast until later in the morning, and I will have a protein shake sometime earlier, like around 7 or 8. But do what you want with that, okay? If you want to be optimal, wait 90 minutes before you have your coffee and eat some breakfast before. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to focus on all the other ways I can improve my health before I do that. The next thing that you want to do in the morning is to move your body. So this can be a full-on workout. This can be a walk. This could be stretching. This can be jumping on a rebounder, which I love doing, and that also helps your lymphatic system. So just getting some type of movement for about 10 minutes, whatever you want to do, just move some way, somehow. That's going to help your body just kind of wake up, feel a little bit more energized, and it also has a downstream effect. When you start your day with movement, you're going to feel good and you're going to move more throughout the day. I will say the best time of day to work out is whatever time best fits your schedule. I do encourage women who work full-time jobs to work out in the morning as much as they can, because you have the most control over your mornings. In the evenings, it's really, really difficult, especially if you have a commute, you have a family, you have all these responsibilities, to do a workout after work. I know when I was younger, I was living by myself. I didn't have any other responsibilities other than like work, really. And when I would go home and then go to the gym, forget it, that would never happen. But even going right after work to the gym with everyone else, and then it would take me like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, because it's so crazy busy, and then driving home, and then it's 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock by the time you get home. That makes it really difficult to stick to, because you're like, well, I have to cook dinner, I have to do this, I have to help the kids with their homework, I have to do all these other things, I have to prep for tomorrow. And after work, we just have such a teeny tiny amount of time that it makes it really difficult to stay consistent and stick to a routine when you don't have one yet. If you're working out in the morning, you have the most control over that. You can get up as early as you want. Even if you're only doing a 15-20 minute workout and you do that a couple times a week, you are going to see amazing, incredible results. And it's much easier to get your workout in before everything and everyone comes at you for the entire day. Going into the things that you can do later in the day to help you improve your sleep. Number one is that your last meal should be about 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. You don't want to eat too close to your bedtime, because then that can impact your sleep. If your body is digesting, or you just feel really, really full and uncomfortable, like you're not gonna be able to fall asleep. So having your last meal about 2 to 3 hours before that, and then going for a short walk, at least 10 minutes, is going to help your body to digest your food better. You're gonna feel less bloated, you're gonna feel good, and you're also ending your day with some light movement. It's also helpful if you are able to walk at sunset, because that light helps to signal to your brain, just like sunlight in the morning signals to your brain to wake up. The sunset light signals to your brain, hey, it's time to like get sleepy and go to bed. Another thing you want to do in the evening is to dim your lights. So I like to use a floor lamp. I also have this little light cube, or just using table side lamps. You don't want to use the big fluorescent overhead lights. You don't want bright white daylight light bulbs. You want something that almost mimics like candlelight. You don't need to light candles, and you definitely should not leave them going while you are asleep. I know I've done that a time or two by mistake. Don't do that, it's dangerous. But basically mimicking that candlelight. So you can get some like amber lights, soft dim lighting for your bedside tables or for your living room if you're still awake, but just avoiding bright overhead light if you can. About 1 hour, at least 30 minutes, okay? At least 30 minutes, but ideally an hour before bed, you want to cut off electronics. You already know, you've probably already heard, that blue light can really impact your sleep because it mimics daylight and tells your body, let's spike some cortisol and wake this person up. And you want to avoid that right before you go to bed. So turning off the phone, okay, turning off the TV, definitely no TV in your bedroom. That is a big no-no. But turning off all those electronics, and then doing something that is non-digital to help you relax. This can be reading a book, taking a bath, listen to a podcast or an audiobook, playing a game, doing your skincare routine, whatever it is that helps you to unwind, relax, and just detach from the stress of the day is what you want to focus on. Let's talk about your actual bedroom now. First off, you want your bedroom to be completely dark. Blackout curtains on the windows. There should be no lights. So there was a study that they did that showed that even like a teeny tiny, like push pin size light could impact your sleep. So if you do have things like your phone charger that has a light, put some black electrical tape over it. I've done that to make sure that there's zero light coming from those. If it's possible, have your phone in another room. I know that's not always possible, but I highly recommend at least keeping it on the other side of the room from you. I don't put my phone next to my bed. It's on the other side of the room. And I use a sunlight alarm. I'll link that in the description. I have it set for 5 a.m. Around 4:30, it starts to simulate sunrise with its light, and that gradually just wakes me up, and I end up waking up a little bit before the alarm actually goes off at 5, just naturally. So it helps me to come out of my sleep in a much more pleasant way than like the startling iPhone alarm noise. You also want the temperature of your room to be between like 65 and 68. That's ideal for your body to fall asleep for, or for your body to be in sleep state at that temperature. If it's much warmer than that, you're going to have difficulties falling asleep, staying asleep, because you're going to be sweating and uncomfortable. And I'm sure that if you live in Florida or Texas or any other hot places, you know how uncomfortable it is when it's extremely hot and you're trying to sleep. And this one is for my anxious girlies. Like I've mentioned before in several episodes, I feel like my pillow is a secret trigger for my brain. The second my head hits the pillow, I have a bajillion thoughts, ideas, and worries that enter my mind. And something that I've been doing right before bed that has helped me so much is journaling. You can also do a brain dump. That's something I have done recently, but I don't keep it to the end of the day. I just do it throughout the day whenever I think of something. If you guys are interested in that process, let me know. I can share it. But journaling right before bed, just whatever's in your mind, you know, your worries, your thoughts, your prayers, whatever the case may be, writing it all down is going to help you kind of just get all of that out. You can also try a few de-stressing activities like breathing exercises. Those are always my go-to because they're so easy. It's free. You could do something like a guided meditation, whatever it is that works for you to help your brain just go into relaxation mode is what you want to do, so that it can help you be in that restful state in order for you to fall asleep and get deep, restful sleep. All right, those are all of my little tips for you. I hope that a couple of them stood out to you as something that you can implement right away. So let me know in the comments like what you want to try adding into your routine this week to help you get better sleep. If you've been struggling with sleep, let me know in the comments below. What have you tried? Like I said before, this has been a constant battle for me since probably college, where I had my first stint of insomnia and I actually had to take a semester off because it was so bad. So I definitely understand the sleep struggles. I hope that in today's episode, you took away a couple of things that you feel like could really help you improve your sleep health and to get more restorative quality sleep to live a better life and to show up as your best self. So let me know in the comments what you're going to try adding to your routine this week. And I appreciate you so much for being here. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos in the future. See you next week. Bye.